And here we go with round 3. 16 players left in the tournament. Top 8 will go through. We're gonna have 3 maps yet again with 4 rounds per map. And whoever gets the best positions will get a so-called easier semi-final. We are gonna follow Elcon in this first official warm-up. And let's see if he can show us how to properly play the map. We see that the Semailleur Duzel will be the second map, and TM3, the map I've mentioned a couple of minutes ago, will be the last map. So that is surely gonna be very interesting. Semailleur Duzel, I think, was the second map in round 1, if I'm not wrong. Either first or second. But anyway, we see Elcon doing a good job in this warm-up. Of course, he's gonna crash as soon as I say that. So let's spectate someone else. Let's see what Rin is doing. Just to be sure. Nice. I've been calling him Rin the whole tournament, so I mean, you never know. You always got these players impersonating other players. So it's a good idea, just to be sure. Oh, Nida just gets stuck on the edge there. But let's see if Ice and Rin will go for the Magnet transition. Rin does go for it, but yeah, that was kind of obvious. So quite an unfortunate warm-up for him. But usually, whenever players have a sloppy warm-up, that means they fully pop off in the live round. And here we go. First round of the round 3 of the Taraaf Cup 3. Who's gonna make it into the semi-finals? Which of these players will end up in top 8? Right now following L'Encoleur de Mouche. Gets a decent start right now in 6th place. Falls down to 10th with not the greatest jump there, but it's still well in it. Not even half a second behind, which is not even that much on maps like this. So no problem there in the wall ride. Even goes up a couple of places. Let's see if he can do the turnaround properly. Oh, kind of aims for the end of the boosters, so he doesn't get a full boost, and looks like he is the only person going on the right here. That is very interesting, given that it feels much more natural to go on the left, and of course it gives you a much better exit angle, which is exactly what he didn't have there, and the reason why he crashed. So going up to Niti, who is in 6th place right now, but doesn't have that much speed over the glass section, will allow Elcon and Shad to pass him. See, will he get stuck here? This is very safe. A little donut drift even. And drops down to 7th. Mika right now far ahead in the lead, which is something that we should expect by this point. As Nida and the Soulblot are miles behind. Let's see who's gonna go for the Magnet transition. I think Elcon did, and it cost him a lot. He will have to respawn, as all of these players will gain a position as a result. Right now, Mick in first, Rin second, Fontaine Cock fighting with Shad for a third. All of them get a decent end, with Niti in 5th. It will be Takuns, Jonat and L'Encoleur de Mouche who complete the top 8, which is where you want to be at the end of round 3. Soulblot not able to finish. Same goes for Nida, and this is huge already. Because the points, as Splo just asked, will be the same. So they're already more than 20 points down. That is huge. But it seems like Nida did finish in the end, just barely. So Sobot actually is the only one with 0 points right now. Terrible start for him, and now he needs a big pointer. He is doing just that. Goes up in the lead even. Great response after failing around. Let's go a bit further down to Rin, who can give us a good overview of what's happening in front. Soblood is still holding strong in first. Probably gonna get attacked by Mika soon. But Rin with a very nice wall right there. But then gets a sloppy landing. Will drop down a couple of positions, but nothing major still. Still in it. However, Soblood is fully dead after the landing, and Rin with a very juicy box slide there goes all the way up to second, right behind the usual suspect in first. Akun's on the other hand right now in sixth, fighting with Tankrom, and he has so much more speed. Really important to get a lot of speed over the glass section. Let's see in this snake part who can get it the best. Oh, Takun's crashes twice late on, and that's gonna be terrible for him as Shad passes him. Let's see. Will anyone again go for the risky transition here? Shad has little to no speed at all, and we see Niti is far behind. Let's see, none of these guys really risk. His block is flying all the way to the right, barely manages to save it, but on the bright side he's still in it, even though he's lost a couple of positions with a really sloppy landing. Tankrom fighting with Mech as Mika wins a round, which is what we expect at this point, kind of. Rin getting in second, then the fight we were just looking at. Let's see if Niti, who I believe is in last, can he still make it? I don't think he has enough time, but maybe Nida and John at will. Nah, doesn't look like it. Again, this time 3 players not finishing. So in all of these bottom positions, I mean, some of these guys are already really far behind. Because we've got L'Incolère de Mouche in 8th with 58. So I think we can stay with Nida, who's right now really far behind. He barely finished round 1, and round 2, yeah, we just saw what happened. However, this time around he's getting the start exactly how he wants. But then gets terrible transition there on the magnet, and will allow so many players to pass him. Really unfortunate stuff for Nida, but I think he's still in it. He could still win the round if he gets this turnaround properly, and which is exactly what he does. Right now, Shad in first, Rin in second. Nida trying to go for the big boy points. Will all of these guys go for the bug slide? Yes, works out for Nida very nicely. Comes closer to Shad in second. Now they gotta get a lot of speed here for the glass section. I think it's kind of the same for Shad and Nida. Yep, they do come closer to Rin. So let's go down to Ontenkok. Right now in 5th, goes for a tactical wallbang there, which doesn't seem to be the worst idea, because it makes the rest of the section a lot easier and allows him to advance through the player field. As we see a huge mistake, I believe that was Nida. Yes, again, he's choking so much on this map. What is he doing? He's failing some of the easiest parts, and now he's only in 13th. As we saw Mika with a mistake there, and L'Incolère de Mouche leaves the server. I believe that's an unfortunate disconnect. I don't see why he would rage quit at this point. Yep, exactly. You really hate to see it. And Nida, I don't think will gain any more positions. Only 13 for him, with Rin winning a round now. And Rin is doing really well now. Yep, he is definitely Regu than Lichoke. That is unfortunate, and with that, Rin is in the lead by almost 30 points. Ahead of Mika, who we saw just drop out on the left when we were watching what Nida was doing. So I actually haven't spectated Mika that much today because he's just been too fast. So maybe we can take a look whether or not he can bounce back in the last round of map 1. That's a very risky line, but it works out. And you can see just why Mika is so much faster than the rest. Takes all of these risks, but he knows how to pull them off. And of course, as I say that, he gets kind of a wonky wall ride magnet thingy. So we'll drop down to 5th. But then gets such a nice landing. Won't get much airtime here either. And he's trying to catch up to Tankram in first. No, he's not going for the bug slide here. Also interesting that he's so fast even without the bug slide. So apparently in that section he values safety over pace. That's of course a smart thing to do if you're not sure you can pull off the riskier strat every single time. So Mika doing well this round. And we saw Nida again. Just crashing in that section where nobody really crashes. And Rin again in first. Oh, what a mistake by Shad. He turned too early and did a front flip over the quarter pipe. Let's see, none of these guys are going for the risky transitions. Smart thing to do. They have no reason to risk. All of them are in top 3. So let's go a bit further back. Let's see what Nit is doing in 6th. No problem for the ending. Bit of a stylish finish. And he ends up in 6th. With Nida finally top 8 position. Elcon only 15th. Now that really surprises me. He hasn't been doing as well as in the previous round, round 2. So right now he is in 9th, which means after map 1 he is out of it. Of course it doesn't mean anything, maybe he'll just blast everyone in maps 2 and 3. We've still got 8 rounds to go, so we're only a third of the way. Shad already complaining, this is his worst map. So let's see what these guys who are at the bottom of the pack are doing. So Nida right now, only 75. Soulbot on 76. Then L'Anquilleur, the Moosh with a very unfortunate disconnect in only 81 points in 14th place. Jonat, 83 in 13th. Then we've kind of got a gap here of 15 points all the way up to Niti in 12. And right now we see Takuns with 116. He's the last player surviving. So all of these guys will need to up their game very quickly. And they will need to hope for some no finishes as well. Because in this format where you get so many points, like even if you're last, you get 20 something points. I think it's 22 or whatever, doesn't even matter. But you get so much points that if you don't finish, it really puts you far back. But you gotta win the next round. Otherwise it's insanely difficult to come back. So Niti not having a fun time in the warm-up. But let's see what Shad can do. We saw him complain. Let's see if he was complaining for nothing. Or if he actually had a good reason to be worried about playing this map. This is of course the map we saw in round 1. And it was the map 1. So this is where it all started. Alright, now curious to see if Mika is still gonna be the only one going for the other route. I think in round 1 he was the only one taking the opposite approach of everyone else. So let's see if anyone else is gonna take that same way. I guess this is one of the maps where he doesn't have local one. We see Lasnox here in first with 126.16. Let's see if Mika can beat him maybe. But of course we want to focus on these guys. So let's see what Elcon is doing. Elcon is only on 9th place right now. And actually I think quite a few players went right. So all of them must have played on server 2 in round 1. Anyway, Mika this time around goes with the pack. Fighting with Rin. Elcon right behind him. It's really difficult to judge who is in which position because of the alternative routes. So I think we can only tell whether or not players are making big mistakes. And right now Rin and Mika are doing a good job with Elcon closely following him. See Mika with a big mistake there. Will drop down, leaving Rin and Elcon here. So again, very difficult to judge because they're jumping from like 13 to first because of how the CPs are placed. They're only doing this section now. Oh, but Rin with a terrible landing. He knew he wouldn't have been able to make the following jump, so he had to respawn. And this is great news for Elcon. And actually all of these guys are going the opposite way. But Elcon just clips the end. Oh, that's gonna put him so far back. Oh my god, what a mistake in the end. He looked poised to take third, just touched the end, and all the way down to 9th. I think that kind of shows how easy round 3 has been going so far. Very, very unfortunate for him. So he falls even further back. Right now only in 11th. And I think the last 4 players might already be dead. So let's spectate one of them. L'Encoleur de Mouche. Let's see if he can come back. He of course goes the so-called normal way, where the vast majority of players go. I don't think it really matters. Because you gotta go both ways anyway, so it's all about what you're more comfortable with and whether or not you want to put pressure on your opponents when they just see you in front at a CP just at a random time because of the way the CPs are placed. And out of the guys going the opposite way, we see Rin is far ahead of the rest. Mika not doing that well this time. So we can just continue to follow this group of players as Shad I think makes big mistake and L'Encoleur de Mouche just hits the decoration there. That will put him very far behind and that might already be game over for him. Takuns on the other hand doing really well in this round. Will this be enough for top 3? Probably not, because Rin is coming strong from the other direction. And it will be enough for 4th, however. With Elcon this time in 5th. Nida in 6th. Well needed 32 points. And May in 8th. Out of the players we gotta keep our eye on. He is in 10th, of course. And Splak, of course, got 3rd. So pretty much everyone is still in a fight other than Rin, who has been doing incredibly well. So let's go down to Lasnox. Lasnox is only in 11th now. He needs some big boy points, just like the guy who was in 11th before got, which is Elcon. Gets a good start. Only ice in front of him, out of the players going this way. Seems like Tankram is far behind in the other group, with Rin most likely leading again. Oh, everything is switching again in the CPs. Ice with an early landing doesn't really help him a lot. I think it's actually Lasnox who gets the most exit speed out of that section. However, I still had a pretty big gap, so he's not worried too much. But Lasnox, oh, he has to respawn. That is terrible for him. So let's go to Nida, who will take full profit of Ice's mistake. And let's see, right now it's Nida versus the trio going the other way. Who's gonna get first in this round? This could be exactly what he needs. If he wants to come back into this fight, looks like he might just get it. Because, oh, Rin, nice end. I thought Rin was gonna die there, but actually an amazing line from Rin. And wins yet another round with a 127. Nida in second. Well needed 42 points. And Elcon again doing really well. L'Enculeur de Mouche, out of all those players who are in desperate need of points, also on plus 32. However, he only drops down because of Nida. So let's see, right now it's Spluck with a 208. He is in the 8th position with Meh, the closest, 13 points behind. He goes this way as well. So I just want to watch these guys for one more round. I see Mika with a mistake. I think it's just Mika, Rin, Elcon, and Tankram maybe. Where is Tanky? No, actually this time around he goes the normal way. So I did not expect him to be so far behind. He's a player I've missed. We can then keep spectating him. He's also a player in a desperate need of points. Just like the two right up ahead, Lasnox and Jonath. So this looks like to be the round of the underdogs. Tankram avoids the mistake Lasnox made last round, even though his jump wasn't the greatest. However, this landing is, and he goes up to third in this group of players at least. So here fighting with Ice and Lasnox, who's gonna get the best end, and will Rin pass any one of them? Looks like he won't this time. Lasnox should win the round with Ice in second, yes! Rin in third, Tankram in fourth, Elcon fifth, L'Enculeur de Mouche sixth, Shad seventh, and Jonath eighth. So what does that mean for the overall scoreboard? Let's see. I think Jonath and Soblot are in some deep trouble here. And the cutoff point is at 237. So I think the two of them are dead. These guys still have a chance in theory. And I think all of these guys actually are gonna need some no finishes here if they want to come back. However, Spluck and Tankram are still well in. Man, Niti will need a very good performance if they want to come back. And the thing is, it's really difficult to come back from a position like this when you have a player like Rin, who's always taking the top points. Of course, you want to get the first place because the difference between first and second is 8 full points. So when you have a player constantly getting those plus 50s, then it's really hard to come back. And then you've got players like Mika, like Ice, who are also consistently at the top. And kind of getting 5th, 6th, I don't think is gonna be good enough to climb back up. Unless these guys who are in danger, which are Chad, Lasnox, Fontaincock, Alcon, well, pretty much all of these guys here. I think they will require no finishes from those guys. So, let's see, this is probably the wildest map of them all. And speaking in TMGL terms, this is one of those maps where anything can happen. This whole map is an identity. And right now Tankram is in first. But you can see just how quickly it all turns around. You can fail pretty much anywhere on this map. And it's gonna cost you. It is definitely gonna cost you. So, who do we spec it in this one? I think we can actually stay on board with Tanky. Right now in 10th place. Needs to play really well on this map if he wants to clinch a top 8 position. Oh, gets a very wonky start. Touches the little block right before the landing, which is exactly what you want to avoid. And that puts him almost in the last place. Fontaincock there on the left dropping down. Who else I think? Ankul the Moosh also died. That will allow Tanky to come back just a bit. Overtakes Jonah there. And this time around it's actually Rin who is kind of far behind, fighting with Tanky there. And manages to overtake Tanky as well. He is on a mad comeback, goes really low, and it works out so well for both Rin and Tanky. They actually go up to first and second just with a really low jump. Amazing job by both of them. So let's go down to Alcon. Alcon is in 6th. He's also one of the players who's still not safe. It's really close with pretty much everyone other than Rin. Gets the jump. Survives that, no problem. Fighting with Nida here. Rin survives this jump as well as Alcon. So they're surely gonna be fighting for first, but we don't care about first. We care about these players who really want to make it into top 8. Let's see, can Tankram stay in 6th? That would be huge for him. Does the jump here. Nicely done. I think that was Rin who died. But Rin is the one player who can afford to make mistakes. As Tanky just loses a position to Ice in the end. Elcon winning the round. Nida in 2nd, well needed 42 points. Mika in 3rd, Ice 4th, Tanky 5th. Shad 6th, Joan at 7th. And Fontaincock, I think, is dead there. With Exoblot finishing in 8th. So what does that mean for Fontaincock? Oh, he was in 8th position. This is abysmal for him. This is exactly what I was talking about. One no finish and he's down all the way to 13th. Let's see, he needs to bounce back straight away. He's 22 points behind now. He was in 8th and now he's 22 points behind. And last in round 2 of map 3. Terrible position for him right now. Wouldn't want to be in his shoes. However, he can still do it, of course. It will just require a lot of mistakes from other players. There goes one. Nitty is down. And he's catching up to Lasnox. Alcon is well in first, and as I say that he makes a mistake. But Fontaincock isn't exactly making up ground on these guys. He will need a really low jump. He goes for a high jump, wants to be safe. But that is gonna cost him a lot. You can just see how much airtime he had. He's still in 15th. But now we're coming up to the identity of this whole identity map. This is where the most mistakes happen. And Fontaincock already gaining 3 positions. Look at this clown fiesta, everyone dying left and right. Fontaincock in 8th. Takun's right in front of him, Shad with a decent landing there. And he gets it quite nicely actually. Goes all the way up to 7th. Good job by Fontaincock. Keeps himself in the running for the semifinals. He goes for the double jump there. Not sure if that's the correct decision, but players are making mistakes left and right, so he's making full profit of that. Icy doesn't even make the finish, and from being dead last in the start, he ends up 4th. Unbelievable. Tankram winning the round, Mika in 2nd, Shot 3rd, Lancouleur de Mouche 5th, Takun 6th. Ice having to respawn after making that big mistake in the end. Soblo 7th and Rin in 8th. So this is still very much open for a lot of these players. Let's see, who is dead? I think Soblot is dead, Jonat is dead. And right now, Lasnox is in the hot seat. Nida already with a mistake just as I want to spectate him. So let's go just a bit further up to Niti, who I think is in the middle of the pack. We've got 2 more rounds left. This one and another one. So very little time for players to make it into the semifinals. They really gotta make these 2 rounds count. Again, it's Rin and Mika in the top. Nothing new there. Elcon, I don't know what he's doing there. But he will drop far down with that. And I think Fontaincock again, really far behind. Let's see what May is doing. He's going for the low jump and he's dead. I think that's it, the end of the line for May. Fontaincock really far behind in 11th. Not what you want to see. Nida, however, he could make a similar comeback to what Fontaincock did in the previous round. He sees Takun's straight up ahead. Goes for the jump here. Absolutely needs it. Lands it. Does it very nicely. Catches up completely to this group of players. Overtakes Chad. Next up, Lancouleur, Mouche and Tanky. He needs a good end. Tanky gets a sloppy landing. That goes well into Nida's favor. Nice landing again. Goes for the double jump. Gets a slowdown, but I think it will pay off because he is fighting with Lasnox for 3rd here. Goes a bit wider just to make the end. Oh, loses 1 position to Lancouleur de Mouche, but still great comeback. And it looks like whoever is last after the first couple of CPs ends up getting in the top 5 in the end. As I said, this map is absolute madness. And Matt doesn't finish, Elcon barely finishes. So this is the end for some of these players. Mika doesn't finish. But he's still well in, I would say. So we actually have a huge gap here between Tankram and Splock. And Splock has retired. What are you doing, bro? So it's actually Nida right now who is the closest. Let's see, he needs 23 points up to Tankram. And is anyone else close? No, not really. So this is actually between Nida and... let's see if anyone else is... Yeah, Nida, Lasnox and Tankram. Let's see, Nida is doing it very well. Where are his opponents? Tankram is in 8th, so he's fine. Lasnox is a bit further behind. But I think 10th will still be good enough. Because there are 2 players super far behind. 1 player has already given up. Tankram makes the jump. So Nida is in 4th. But he makes a mistake there. Drops down, and I think this might be the end. Oh. Drives on his nose, and he leaves. So I think all of these guys are really far behind. All of these guys would require a round win in order to come back, so kind of anticlimactic last round. The top 8 will stay the same. So now we can just follow these guys as they drive into the finish. Nothing is gonna change. Except, however, the positions. We know that it is important to get as good of a position as possible. So let's see, maybe Takuns can advance a couple of positions with a good position in this round, but doesn't look likely. He's only in 8th. Plasnox with the bottom finish. And that's gonna be it. Will Mika pass Ice? He will, actually. So Mika will end up second. Rin has absolutely dominated round 3 and will win it. See, Ice, I think, will be in 3rd. Shad in 4th. Elkon 5th. Takuns 6th. Lasnox 7th. And Tanky in 8th.